Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here today. As always, I have a general reading for you, and as always with any general reading, only take what resonates and leave the rest. It is a timeless message and can represent past, present or future depending on where you're at on your healing journey. Spirit will always guide you to a message that you need to hear exactly when you need to hear it, okay? For the ease of channeling, I am going to use the pronouns he and she, but by all means swap them out for pronouns that fit for you if they don't, okay? Okay. So I'm really being drawn to the colour orange today, and the sacral chakra. You could have a blocked sacral chakra. The sacral chakra, for me, represents sacred sexuality. Along with the root chakra, it is linked into the reproductive system. Okay, it is in your reproductive area, or just above that actually, just under the navel. If you're having, Spirit is saying, okay, and I am not a doctor, so if you are having issues with your reproductive system, please go see a doctor, okay? This is in no way medical advice, but I'm being advised by Spirit that you need to eat some oranges, okay? Eat some oranges, okay? So when you eat the colour of food that is linked in to a particular chakra, that can help to balance it out, okay? Because I am feeling maybe your creativity is blocked. Your sacral chakra also governs your relationship with others, but also yourself. The element for the sacral chakra, I believe, is water. So tap in, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, spend time near a body of water, take a bath. There are essential oils that you can use to assist you with that, with your sacral as well. I'm hearing geranium. Now, normally geranium I would suggest for the root chakra. So it may be that your root and your sacral are out of balance, okay? If you're feeling particularly emotional, that's a good sign. Or your like emotions are maybe all over the place. Maybe you're feeling a little bit anxious, chaotic, and that's a good sign that you need to be grounding. If you don't like to use essential oils, or you can't because of irritation to your skin, or you're sensitive to them in some sort of way, buy some geraniums, have geraniums around the house, or just walk through some gardens where there are some geraniums. You can add essential oils to your bath as well, but I'm really being guided to geranium. Rosemary is also another good one for the reproductive systems. Rosemary is also very protective as well, so it may be that somebody is, because the sacral chakra is our life force, it may be that somebody is trying to, because I'm seeing a cord, an etheric cord. You maybe need to cut some cords, okay, around your sacral, because to me it's like someone's trying to siphon your energy. Someone's trying to tap into your creativity. Someone's trying to siphon your creativity from you. They're trying to do some sort of destiny swap, okay? We have playtime. The dolphins know the importance of playing, as joy creates miracles and manifestations. Okay. If you're sacral, to be fair, to be honest, if any of your chakras are blocked, it's going to block your manifestations, okay? But specifically, there is something to do with maybe you're trying to have a baby, or you're having fertility issues and you're trying to, you maybe need some womb healing. Now, womb healing automatically people will say, oh, that's to do with the female, the feminine, okay? But men are born from a woman's womb, so men will also benefit from womb healing, okay? You maybe are having some reproductive issues around your womb area, or your reproductive system. You could be masculine, you could be feminine. Take it as it resonates, but I'm really being guided to, I do think you need to go to a doctor, okay? You need to seek, I feel like you need, if nothing comes of it, it will at least put your mind at rest. You know, maybe you're worrying that you've got some sort of issue because something's not manifesting. Maybe like stress and anxiety can block and cause issues with your reproductive system, okay? I'm not saying that if you're trying to have a baby that you will then be successful in having a baby, but you may have some sort of hormonal balance, because babies don't just represent a physical birth, a physical pregnancy. Babies represent new life, okay? So if you're not looking to have a baby, this could be something to do with a new beginning, okay? A new cycle. You need to do a clearing before this new cycle can begin, okay? And a great way to do that, there may be some stuck, stagnant energy, is to get out and have fun. Tap into your inner child, okay? We have self-forgiveness and synchronicity. Yeah. Anger and resentment, especially if it is directed to some sort of relationship, okay? And it doesn't have to be a partner, it can be family, it can be friends. It can block your sacral chakra specifically, okay? And then in turn, when one chakra, I want to say chakra, I keep wanting to say chakra, so there's something to do with there's something shock or something, because chakra, it's a combination, it's giving me a combination of shock and chakra. But anger and resentment can block your sacral chakra, but it's also going to block your heart, okay? And when your heart chakra is blocked, you're not then open to forgiveness, and maybe you're being a bit hard on yourself. Maybe and what I'm going to be completely honest, what I'm picking up on, I am picking up that this is something to do with fertility and a baby. Now, there's two things that are coming through. I feel like there is anger and resentment around a feminine, being directed towards a feminine, and that doesn't mean it has to be a female, it doesn't have to be a male, okay? We all embody feminine energy, but the feminine energy specifically is intuitive. So it feels like when it's in balance, what I'm feeling here is that somebody is angry and resentful towards a feminine. So you could be angry and resentful towards another feminine around something to do with pregnancy. Maybe I had this come through yesterday about something to do with being told that you were going to have a baby and it's not happening, and you're blaming this person. But really what's going on, and this is the other side of the message, the other thing that's coming through, it's not really, you can't blame someone outside of you for your fertility issues, okay? You can't blame yourself either. If you've got fertility issues, that's not your fault, okay? That's out of your control. So what I'm feeling here is that deep down, you're guilting and shaming yourself and being harsh on yourself for not being able to get pregnant or to give your partner a baby. Okay. And what you're doing is you're projecting it at someone else because this person said you were going to have a baby. But I don't feel like this person told you directly that you were going to have a baby. I feel like there's been a miscommunication around some information given to you with regards to a pregnancy, okay, or a baby. You could have watched a general reading, and again, this is the energy that was coming through yesterday, okay? A general reading is for multiple people. If some of that reading is resonating with you, it doesn't mean that the whole necessarily that the whole reading is for you, okay? So something around a baby could have come up in that reading, but it doesn't necessarily mean that for you it is a literal baby. And there's also other things that because it feels to me like this intuitive person is a reader or some sort of intuitive, okay? And I don't feel like this person directly told you that you were going to have a baby. I feel like you've perhaps tapped into a general reading or a situation where something was put out generally and you've interpreted that or misinterpreted that to mean that you're going to be the one receiving a child and you're going to get pregnant. And that may be the case. You may, but there may be other things that need to occur first. I'm not saying that you're not going to have a baby, okay? That's not I'm not saying either way that you are or you're not. But when it comes to general readings, and again, I'm reiterating what I've put in yesterday's reading, those readings are for multiple people, especially if they're going on social media platforms. Those readings are potentially reaching people all across the world, okay? Not everybody is on the same timeline at the same time as you, all right? So, and there's going to be messages in a general reading where, because someone will start watching a reading, so the energy of that reading may be for that person, and then they get to a point and they click off the reading, okay? And then another person is then watching till the end, and then there's going to be different energies coming in, okay? So you have to only, this is why it's really important, and why I say at the beginning, only take what resonates for you. A reading should be clarifying your own intuition and what you feel resonates. If it does not resonate, it is not for you. And I feel that there's been a miscommunication, because babies can also represent, they can be symbolic in new life, a new cycle. They can also represent your inner child, a part of your inner child. And I feel like that potentially you've watched a reading, or you've watched multiple readings where pregnancy has been mentioned, and because it's something you want, you've latched onto that. And that's absolutely okay. If you want to manifest that, that's absolutely be okay. But what you've done is you've kind of attached to the outcome, and you're like blaming, I feel like you're blaming like a tarot reader or an intuitive for a prediction that they made. But predictions can change based on your and others' actions, okay? They're not set in stone, which is why I don't actively go out of my way to do an outcome. And if I do a reading where I do an outcome, I always call it a potential outcome, because that energy is subject to change based on your actions and based on the actions of somebody else. Okay. And because there's no time, we as physical beings put time limits on things. When it comes to spirit, there's no time does not exist. Okay. There's something about something, you expecting something to manifest. Okay, so what I'm getting now is that you've watched readings. Again, it could be one reader, it could be multiple readings, and they've all said that something is being gifted to you, and you've linked that in with, oh, I'm going to get pregnant, or something like, and you're like, oh, that didn't happen, therefore I have not been gifted with something. You lied. I feel like there's some sort of, like, you feel betrayed. You're feeling betrayed by a reader or an intuitive, okay? Because you feel like they've lied to you, but they haven't lied to you. You've taken the information and misinterpreted what they've been saying based on what it is that, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. There's a lesson in that for you, okay? But instead of gaining clarity or asking this person or this intuitive, this reader, to clarify for you, and this is where I'm going to reiterate, if a reader is coming to you and advising and telling you that you need a personal reading and you need to come to them for a personal reading, be very, very careful. But again, as I said yesterday in my reading, if in a general reading I am feeling that you're confused over what part of this reading is for you, then I would advise you to go and seek out a personal reading. Okay? That does not mean that you have to come to me. You go find someone that resonates with you. Okay? But this is the idea, the point of a general reading is it's not going to resonate. Not everything is going to be for you. And even if, and sometimes only bits of a reading are going to be for you. Okay? That doesn't mean that if it doesn't resonate now, that you won't come back in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or a year, and it's then going to resonate and that's what's coming in for you. Okay? It depends on the timeline that you are on. And during a general reading, I'm not going to be able to tap in individually as to who's on what timeline, because there's so many of you. Okay, so I just have to give the information that spirit needs to get out in this moment. Okay, but I feel like there's some real anger and resentment being projected towards a reader or an intuitive, okay, because you've misread. I feel because I'm feeling a sense of embarrassment. You're feeling embarrassed and ashamed because you thought something was manifesting for you and it hasn't manifested for you. That doesn't mean it's not going to. It just means that that's not in alignment with where you are right now, okay? But it doesn't mean that something else hasn't manifested on the path to that as a stepping stone. Because, am I making sense? Sometimes a reading, we're going to go with the baby example because that's what's coming through really, really strongly, okay? If you are wanting to have a baby with your partner, there are certain things that need to happen before that can occur, okay? And for some people, it's not going to happen, and a physical pregnancy is not going to happen. You also have to take into account that a pregnancy, and we only, as readers and intuitives, we only get shown what spirit want us to see. We cannot see everything, okay? Because we only get the information that you are ready to receive in this moment, okay? Now, sometimes we can predict that someone's going to get pregnant, but that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be complications to that pregnancy, okay? Because there are factors outside of our control, okay? And that is why a lot of readers will not do specific readings around pregnancy. That is why I have and health and legal issues, okay? Because based on other people, your actions and other people's actions, things can change. There can be delays created. You may get pregnant, but you may unfortunately have a miscarriage, or there may be some sort of other complication, okay? That is not the reader's fault. And it can also be that you're going to get pregnant, there may be complications, there may be a miscarriage, and then you're going to go on to have a healthy baby, but that miscarriage has to come in to clear out some sort of cycle or something before a healthy pregnancy can take place, okay? I hope I'm making sense. I'm really kind of like struggling to get this message out because it's a very sensitive topic, and I'm trying to be very careful about telling someone that they're going to have a baby and it be like talking about this and someone misinterpreting it, because that's what I'm feeling is someone has misinterpreted a reading with regards to specifically. I'm also hearing about a house as well, and this came through yesterday, pregnancy and a house. So basically I'm saying, like, you may have a plan that you want this to happen in this order, but you can't always have your ducks in a row, because spirit has a bigger plan. So if you don't understand why something is happening right now, or you're getting angry and resentful, this is triggering you for a reason, okay? It's so you will do the healing. Now, I will just say we are moving into, for a lot of us, for some people, you're going to need to be a specific vibration to bring the new souls that are coming into this world in, okay? For some people, that's not, again, that is not for everyone. Only take that if it resonates. But if something is going to manifest for you, you will see signs and synchronicities with regards to that everywhere you go, okay? It will be slapping you in the face. If you're seeing synchronicities with regards to, again, let's go back to the baby. If you're seeing babies everywhere, if you're seeing pregnant people everywhere, you're hearing about babies, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen for you. You've got to release the outcome of it's going to happen now. It will happen as and when God, source, creation, universe deems you are ready, not when you think you're ready, okay? And if you're, I do feel like there are some blockages that need to be cleared before there's something that is sitting in the ethers for you. I can't see specifically what it is, again, because it's a general reading. In order to see what this is for you specifically, you would need to have a personal reading, and I am so if you're feeling a little bit confused, not sure exactly, feeling a little bit confused as to why your manifestation specifically is not manifesting, I do recommend that you go get a personal reading. Find a reader that you resonate with, okay? Use your discernment, listen to your intuition. I am not doing personal readings at this moment in time, so if you do get someone who reaches out to you pretending to be me, it's not me. I am not open to personal readings at this time. But if you're confused, if you're watching a general reading, thank you, Spirit. If you're watching a general reading and it's confusing to you, then it is not a message for you. Okay? If it's confusing, it's not for you. Okay? But what I'm feeling here is that you are projecting your anger and your resentment towards a specific reader, intuitive, and actually, when we're projecting at others, it's because there's something going on within us that needs to be healing, and you need to go within because you're angry and resentful towards yourself about something. This could be to do with inner child wounds, so childhood wounds. Okay, it needs to be cleared out. Okay, it needs to be healed, if that's what you choose to do. All right, that is just my advice. On the bottom of the deck, we have pay attention, notice, repeat. I can't pronounce that. Repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable intuition, information. Exactly. Listen to your intuition. If it's not resonating for you, it's not for you. Okay. If it's confusing you, it's not for you. If you can't go, when a reader, if you're watching readings and you can't go, oh, I know exactly what they're talking about. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. That's what I was picking up. It's not for you. Okay. Readings generally, yes, sometimes we do give you a warning. We might give you a warning in a reading saying that, you know, if you continue on this path, this is what's going to happen. If you go down this route, this is what's going to happen. But the choice is yours. And again, and it is exactly that. The outcome is going to be dependent on your actions. All right. I feel like I'm confusing somebody and I'm trying to unconfuse you. But if you're confused, then this isn't your reading, okay? Or you need to seek a personal reading to unconfuse you, okay? But just be gentle on yourself. We all interpret things, misinterpret things at times. And it's just a lesson to gain clarity before jumping to conclusions, okay? For what it's worth, this reader or this intuitive would feel awful if they thought that they'd like betrayed you in any sort of way. This reader hasn't gone out of their way to betray you. I'm a little bit confused as to why you feel betrayed, why you feel like they've lied to you. Spirit, there's a message from Spirit that you're not seeing. Spirit are trying to... There's something to do with this reader or this intuitive lying to you. Spirit are trying to guide you in a particular direction, okay? There's some... I'm so confused. It feels like you're really confused right now. And you're trapped in your head. You owe someone an apology. I feel like you owe this reader or this intuitive an apology. Because I feel like you've been a bit mean to them. Because you've misinterpreted something they said or something they did. I feel like you've watched a general reading and you've been like distancing yourself from them. Spirit are guiding you to reach out to this intuitive and apologize. because it genuinely doesn't feel like this intuitive has gone out of their way to mislead you in any way. There's something about them not helping you. You're trapped into your head. So this is giving me Divine Empress. There's something to do with a manifestation, or some sort of gift, some sort of opportunity. And with this Empress, I'm being drawn to her belly. Some sort of new opportunity, something that you thought was manifesting for you and it hasn't manifested. Okay, some sort of new beginning, whether that be with a baby, whether it be a house, something new coming in for you. And you've misinterpreted as that being something that's coming in now. But I feel like the message was a message of hope, of this is what is to come. Like it was as much as I said, we give warnings, we also give like Spirit will give us messages of what's to come, to buoy your faith, give you trust and faith that it is coming for you, it is going to happen, but you have to stay positive. There's something about misinformation or miscommunication. There is going to be an opportunity for you to apologize to this, because I'm getting a divine feminine energy, an intuitive, this isn't you, I'm not picking up on you as the collective with this card. I'm picking up on this being the intuitive, or the this is something to do with being a mother. You need to forgive yourself with regards to, then maybe you may have mother wounds. Okay, most of us do. Mother-father wounds, they go hand in hand. Okay, this person may also be a mother. Maybe you thought you were the one that was going to manifest a pregnancy for yourself, but this other person has manifested a pregnancy. Or there's something to do with a pregnancy, and maybe you think that this intuitive is pregnant, and there's some jealousy and resentment around that. I'm not picking up on anyone being pregnant. Spirit aren't showing me that. I am picking up on that somebody's had a glow up, somebody's had a new opportunity, and you're wondering where yours is. Where's your blessing? You're not seeing what was given to you. You were given something. It may not have been what you were hoping for, but you were offered something. Something was given to you, but because you're not in a state of gratitude, I feel like you're really struggling to be grateful right now, because your manifestation didn't happen in the way you were expecting. And that's the thing, you need to detach from the outcome and go with the flow. You need to tap into your self-love and just love on yourself right now. I still feel like you were given something, but you're looking for something outside of you, and it wasn't something outside of you, it was something within you. I've just heard you've been offered the gift of healing. So something's triggered you. Right. This is not going to be what you want to hear, but this has triggered you. Somebody's had a glow up, or someone around you's got pregnant. Although I'm not resonating with the pregnancy thing. For somebody around you, I don't feel like somebody around you is pregnant, but for some of you, it may be. That's the message coming through. I'm resonating more with somebody's had a glow up. Okay. The pregnancy thing is to do with a new cycle, a glow up, a stepping up, ascension. Something to do with this divine feminine, this energy, this intuitive, this reader. something to do if you feel like they've lied to you about things aren't going well for them, because what you're seeing outside of them is that they look really good. They've had some sort of glow up. This has triggered you because things aren't going well for you. Okay, and so you're now angry and resentful at this person that's had this glow up because you want to know where yours is. If they've got it, why haven't I got it? It's because that you're at different stages of your healing journey. Okay, you're at different stages. They've done the work to glow up. You haven't quite ended a cycle, so you're going to have to, right, this into a cycle. You've got to redo the cycle because you didn't do what needed to be done. You didn't do what needed to be done. You didn't learn the lesson that needed to be learned, or you didn't integrate it. But there's something to do with you're not seeing a physical manifestation for yourself, but basically you've been given the gift of healing. So this trigger, this intuitive, this healer has had a glow up that you're seeing, and it's triggered you, and that was the gift from spirit. It's triggered you to give you a choice to do the healing or to stay stuck and stagnant. It was to show you what is available to you should you choose to do the work. Okay, I hope that makes sense. You've been given the gift of healing. Let's get some more clarification. Okay. Okay, this person disconnected from you. This person, this intuitive, this healer who's had some sort of glow up, has been in hermit mode. There's something about them not sharing something with you. Okay, there's an entitlement to knowledge and information. This person's had a glow up and you want to know how they did it, and you're angry and resentful at them because they're not sharing that information with you. But they are sharing that information with you. It's just not in the way that you want it. It's not on a one-to-one. It's not on a one-to-one. What you're seeing is this person has been isolated and alone, and you've been hearing rumours that things aren't going well for them, or like you've assumed that because they're not talking to you that things aren't going well for them, and then they come out and you're like, and they've like had some sort of glow up and they look really good, and they, you know, it's like what I'm seeing with these cards is like it's two opposing things, and you're confused as to what the truth is. Okay, now where I'm coming back to the pregnancy, it may not be your pregnancy, it may be this person's pregnancy. You've been hearing that this person is isolated because they're pregnant and they've had a baby, so they're isolated because they've had a baby, but they've come out and you're like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? You're now seeing that this isn't the case. There is no baby. There is no baby. On the bottom of the deck, we have strength and courage. You want to know how this person, there's something that this person has overcome, and you want to know how, because you haven't seen what they've done behind the scenes. You haven't seen the hermit. You've listened to the rumours. You're recognizing this person's strength, and there's some sort of like something to do with admiration here. Something about this person, this intuitive or this healer, being depressed and isolated and like in a like mental health, like in a really bad way, but that's not what you're seeing. I feel like this hermit was this person. They disconnected from a person or a group of people. To protect their energy. Let's get another card for clarification. Judgment. This is your karma or somebody's karma. Two of Pentacles. This card is just giving me confusion. Like, I'm hearing rags to riches. Excuse me, there's some sort of fear within someone. Someone's going into, I've got like a little bit of heartburn coming up, which always is like fears rising up. Someone's scared of someone's glow up. Someone is petrified that somebody's had a glow up and that they're not isolating anymore, because there's been rumours to do with like all these, someone's been gossiping and there's been rumours, okay, with regards to this person. Now, I started off this reading tapping into a different energy. This feels like the energy is slightly different, so you're going to have to go with it. I feel like I'm tapping into somebody else's energy now. What I mean by that, I'm just going to clarify what I mean by that, is like at the start of the reading, I felt like I was tapping into a particular person's energy. It feels like they've now clicked off and somebody else is watching, and I'm now tapping into that energy, and you're confused about a pregnancy. There's been rumours about this divine feminine, this hermiting away, why they're not being seen. Rumours about hidden pregnancy. Rumours about mental health. Somebody's been making up stories about a particular person, a particular divine feminine energy, purely because while this divine feminine's out of the way, they can say and do what they like because there's no evidence. But this person's doing it because they just want to gossip about this divine feminine. Right? They're just making up stories for clout. They're using the divine feminine as clout. They may have been trying to send someone else in to gather information as well, to back up what they're saying. But what I'm seeing here is that somebody is jealous of this. This divine feminine is now out and about and has been seen by others linked into whoever this person is gossiping and spreading stories that quite frankly aren't even true. And they're realizing something's not adding up, that what they're hearing is not what they're seeing. Somebody could be watching your socials as well. These people could be this divine feminine energy has blocked and isolated herself from a person or a group of people, and someone or this group are watching. There's something that she was unable to block them on, and they're spying on socials. So they may have set up fake accounts, or it may be something that you weren't able to block them on, or they weren't able to block someone on because they didn't have their social name. You know, so say it was like YouTube, or if the people don't have an account, you can't block them. If they have an account and you don't have their name, you can't block them. Okay? Because a lot of people don't use their actual birth name. They'll have like a handle. And if you don't know that handle, you can't block that person. So it may be that these people are spying on your socials in some way, and you're out here in the spotlight, you know, you're doing really well for yourself, or this person is doing really well for themselves, and and you're confused about this, because I feel like I'm tapping into like the energy of this divine feminine now, but also somebody who's been being gossiped about, like, too, about the divine feminine. Seeing this divine feminine's glow up is like justice and karma for this person or this group of people, and whoever it is that is telling stories, okay, is jealous and envious and upset over this person's glow up. They don't want to hear that this divine feminine is having these glow up, because they are doing better now that they're not around this person or this group of people, and it's a bitter pill to swallow, okay. This person making up stories is trying to bring chaos and confusion to this divine feminine, okay. This person that is making up stories is quite, like, my head is kind of like going all over the place. I feel like things are all over this place. So this person might be saying that this divine feminine thing, like, can't cope with chaos, or things are too chaotic for them, that's why they're isolating, when actually they're the one in chaos, but they're like projecting. Does that make sense? But there's some sort of confusion around, something's not adding up. What you're seeing, what you're feeling, and what you're hearing isn't adding up. It's not in alignment. Okay? Spirit are guiding you to the truth. They're guiding you to the truth. I'm going to take these ones, and we're going to ask if there's any advice or guidance with regards to moving forward. What do you need to know? Is there anything else? What are your next steps, basically? I feel like there's a need. You may already have tried to reach out to this divine feminine, or somebody has, and you've realised that you're blocked. Somebody's tried to communicate with this divine feminine and realised they're blocked. Or they're realising that they're blocked as a result of this person that was creating stories, and now, yeah, something's not adding up. Magic Guardian, unlock the magic within. I was given that, but I didn't communicate. I was going to say someone's trying to do chaos magic. Someone is sending this divine feminine chaos magic. Hold the space. Okay. Druid. Right. This divine feminine knows that chaos magic is being sent her way, or their way, and they're like just standing their ground. They're holding, standing 10 toes down, basically, and it's not getting through, and it's going back to the person that is sending it. Okay, I don't feel like anyone is actively doing return to spender. There could be something to do with money. Maybe someone's paying someone to do chaos magic. Okay, whoever it is that's creating stories and gossiping about this divine feminine is either doing it themselves for money, or they're paying someone, okay, to do this magic. But somebody is doing chaos magic, or trying to do chaos magic on this divine feminine. This divine feminine is very, very aware. She's 10 steps ahead, okay? I'm going to say she, because it actually genuinely feels like a female. But if it doesn't resonate for you, that's absolutely fine. Swap it out, okay? This divine feminine is 10 steps ahead. Oh, they want to know how how you know that it's them. Right, this person that is spreading lies and gossip about this divine feminine and talking derogatory about this divine feminine, the divine feminine knows that this person is doing magic, and she may have voiced that. Okay, that may have been voiced, and regardless of whether or not people took her seriously or believed her at the time, she's standing 10 toes down. She knows what's going on. Okay, this person who's telling stories and making stuff up, is trying to cover their tracks. Okay, they're trying to say that you're doing the magic on them because things aren't going well in their life. Okay, no, what it is when you do or pay to have someone do negative spell work on another person, especially a chosen one or a divine feminine that is very, very protected by spirit, it is going to come back on you, and it's going to come back tenfold. Okay, no return to sender spells are necessary. All right, because the divine feminine doesn't need to do that. Okay, because we don't, as a divine feminine, we do not wish harm on others. Okay, we will hand it over to spirit and let them deal with it and let them do what needs to be done. Okay, we're just going to up our protection and put our shields in place, to make sure that it doesn't penetrate. All right, and to do that, one way of doing that is to continue to focus on our self-love, and that is what this divine feminine has been doing in isolation. Continue to work on their self-love and their self-respect, and I think this is what this person underestimated. But by doing that, it would expose who they are. There's something to do with cloaking as well. If you are watching this and you are the divine feminine and you know, or you had suspicions about someone doing chaos magic and trying to send it towards you, this is your confirmation. But for most of you, I feel like you are somebody that is linked to this person that's gossiping and putting a divine feminine down, and you're coming here because you're looking for clarification. Okay, because you know something's off and something doesn't add up, and spirit are saying trust what your intuition is telling you, okay, about this person or this situation. If something feels off, it's because there probably is something off. All right, and you know, you have two choices. You can just continue as you are and ignore what's going on, or you can do your research and find out the truth. Okay, but one way or another, the truth is going to be revealed. There is something is going to be revealed to you about this person or the situation, and the truth of what actually happened. This divine feminine's name is going to be cleared. Okay, get out in nature. Okay, get out in nature, tap, because that's going to help you tap into your intuition. Okay, get out in nature and look for the signs and synchronicities. Spirit will give you answers. They will guide you to the truth. Okay, about what this is and what you need to know. All right. But whoever this is that's been doing the chaos magic or been sending the chaos magic, paying for someone to do this to someone else, is panicking because their life is in chaos and they do not want to admit that this is their karma because of what they've done to this divine feminine. On the bottom of the deck, we have winter, take care of your needs. There's, whoever you are watching this, spirit are guiding you to tap into your own self-care at this time and make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because the more you take care of yourself and you fill your cup, the more able you're going to be to tap into your discernment, into your intuition, and see. The more you do that, the quicker you will see through people's masks and their intentions towards another. Okay, and I feel like there's an energy of needing to disconnect yourself from whoever this is. Maybe you already have, maybe you've already started. Listen to your intuition. I feel like you're being guided away from this person because by taking a step back from everyone involved, it's going to help you see the truth. Okay, it can be temporary, it can be permanent, but it just take a step back until you are feeling peace within, you're feeling in alignment, and you feel like you know what the truth is, and then move accordingly. Okay, I'm going to end on some affirmations. I'm going to close this out. Okay. I almost feel like there's unfinished business, okay? There's unfinished business where this person or this situation is concerned, but as far as this divine feminine is concerned, they've closed this cycle, they're done. Somebody's trying to reopen it or keep it going, okay? Someone's not wanting to let go. Someone keeps bringing stuff up, okay? Feels to me like this divine feminine is just off doing their own thing. They're very, very quiet in their hermit, protecting their own peace and energy, doing what they need to do, focusing on their self-love and self-care, because self-love and self-care and putting your needs first isn't selfish, it is necessary. Okay, if you're consistently putting yourself above others, then that's a little bit different. But you do need to take time to regularly take care of yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup, all right? So there may be, whoever this is telling stories, there feels like there's some jealousy and resentment around this divine feminine for putting her needs first, for putting herself and what she wants first. It's like, I'm hearing the audacity. How dare they? How dare they not put me first? So they're creating stories, and this sense of trying to create chaos within this feminine's life to knock their self-love, knock their confidence, throw them out of balance, so that this person will go back to them and they can play hero. So that they can look like the hero. And because there's something about, oh, they only need me when things are going wrong. So they want to create things that are going wrong in this divine feminine's life, so that they can prove that this divine feminine only wants them when things, wants to connect with them when things are going wrong, and that's just not the case at all. But there's a sense of bitterness and vindictiveness from whoever this person is gossiping towards the divine feminine, but it's not actually valid, because the divine feminine hasn't actually done anything towards them. Like they've not actually done anything towards them. But whoever this is spreading stories and stuff and gossip and rumours, they're twisting things. Things have been twisted to make them look better, and to twist the knife in even deeper for this divine feminine, like to stab her in the back. Oh, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Oh well, I just did. It'll flag up if there's an issue. Purely because there's jealousy and resentment, and they're not getting what they want from her. They're not getting the attention. But yeah, they just don't want to admit that the chaos going on in their lives is a result of what they've been given out. I have everything happens according to divine timing for the best results. So affirmations are positive statements about how you want to be, how you want your life to be, and used on a regular basis, they can really help maintain a positive mindset. I don't need to control life. I trust in magic and miracles. So this divine feminine isn't controlling. anything. She's just out here going with the flow, doing, you know, going where she's guided to go, that sort of thing. And this other person is angry and resentful because they can't control the divine feminine and her choices and decisions. Every day I am stronger, braver, and wiser. I live and grow in harmony with the universe. Yeah, you're really seeing this divine feminine, or this divine feminine is being seen in a completely different way to what they've been led to believe. So, like, basically the divine feminine was made out to be some sort of victim, but they're not. They're realizing, whoever this is realizing that that is not the case, and that this divine feminine is actually a lot stronger than she was given credit for, and she's overcome things that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't be able to. Right? I have confidence in myself. I am ready for everything that life offers me. Someone's jealous of this divine feminine's confidence in herself and who she is. There's jealousy, there's like an envy of, like, I want that for me. But this divine feminine is showing you how you can be, what is possible for you, but you have to put the work and the time and energy into that. Somebody is now seeing that whatever the divine feminine's been doing is actually paying off, and they're now seeing her worth. Okay, on the bottom of the deck, I am a unique child of the universe, perfectly me, exactly as I am meant to be. Yeah, this divine feminine is off doing her own thing and is not bothered about any gossip or rumours going on about her, because she knows what's true. She knows who she is. She knows her truth. And, you know, she's at peace with being the villain in other people's stories. If it makes them feel better, and, you know, she's here to help. She's here to serve others. And if that's how... And unfortunately, that is part of the purpose sometimes, is to play the villain in other people's stories. If, you know, that's what's going to help them, if that's what the part that needs to be played, she's not going to, that doesn't mean that she's going to go out of her way to play the villain, but she's not going to correct people. If people misunderstand her, if people misread something that she said, she's not going to correct them, because she understands that as an empath and a healer, that people are going to be triggered by her, but even when they're triggered, she's still helping them, even if that person doesn't see it. Because the only way through is in, and that means you're gonna get triggered. A divine feminine, an empath, is going to hold up the mirror, and it's going to be triggering. This divine feminine just her presence is powerful. Okay, it creates insecurities within people. It doesn't create insecurities within people. It triggers and brings up people's insecurities within themselves. And this divine feminine isn't judging or shaming anyone. That's not what she's about. But being in her energy, if you're unhealed, you're going to feel like she's judging and shaming you, because what you're doing is, or she's doing, is holding up the mirror, and you're seeing yourself through her. So she's showing you where you're judging and shaming yourself, and where you need to consciously do the healing. But she's not going to force you to do the healing. Okay, she will assist you, she will help you through your triggers, and she will show you and guide you how to do your shadow work, if that's what you want to do. But she's not going to force herself on you. So if you start projecting at her, or you don't want her help, she's going to walk away. Okay, she's not going to, you know, like, be upset with you or anything like that. She's just gonna, like, respect your boundaries, and she's gonna walk away. And then, you know, if you change your mind and you decide that you genuinely want to do the healing, as long as you come correctly and not project, you know, there's no reason why the divine feminine won't, or this divine feminine won't help you with that. But you have to want to help yourself and be like not blaming others. And I think that's where this person that is, and that's confirmation, okay, that's where this person that is gossiping and spreading rumors about the divine feminine, and I really feel like I've just, as I was saying all that, I didn't really understand why I needed to say that, but I feel like that this person has led others to believe about something to do with this divine feminine's purpose, her job, her career, that she's it is completely opposite to what this person is saying. And I feel like you're realizing that now, and realizing that this person was just really, really triggered and not willing to do the work, not willing to look at where, like, maybe they needed to do things differently. And what they've done, instead of like acknowledging the triggers and working through them, they've just attacked and projected at the divine feminine, this divine feminine. So this divine feminine stepped away from them, they moved away from them. And it wasn't because they're selfish and they don't care about this person, it's because they were protecting their own boundaries. And I feel like you've been watching this divine feminine and learning more about her from a distance, and there's a sense of wanting to reach out to her now. To there's something to do with apologizing. Like I do feel like everyone involved owes this divine feminine a really big apology. This divine feminine isn't going to be bothered whether you apologize or not. She doesn't need the closure. She's got her closure, because she's not blaming you. She's not blaming herself. She's not blaming anyone. She just understands that it was part of her journey and her purpose. So there's no, she's not holding grudges, okay? It's this person that started it all that's misinterpreted the divine feminine's silence and taken it personally and tried to paint her out as a villain, as a victim. That I forgot where I was going with that. What I was about to say has literally just left my mouth, because I feel like you're speechless, okay? I feel like you're speechless. Like you know you need to speak to this divine feminine. You know there's an apology needed, but, or you know that this person needs to apologise, and this person is refusing, because they're refusing to admit that they've done anything wrong. They know exactly what they've done wrong, but they're not willing to. And this is where your discernment comes in, and it's knowing what battles to choose. And if you're talking to this person and trying to get them to apologise and fix things and they're refusing, you kind of need to take a step back from them, okay? Because you're banging your head against a brick wall. Right now that person is not willing to do what needs to be done, what they're being guided to do. So instead of focusing on their actions and what they've done, you need to step back and take a look at your own actions and what you can do to right this situation, okay? Because you're not responsible for everybody, okay? You are not the glue that holds everybody together. It's not your responsibility to keep everyone together and fix everything. You're only responsible for your own actions and behaviour towards this divine feminine, okay? And that may even be a lack of action, because no action is still an action, okay? You still made a choice not to act. I'm going to leave it here because I'm going way over time. Take care, stay safe. I really do hope this helped and it wasn't too confusing. Namaste.